Hey guys, Adam Zapier here from ManWise, and today I've got a little story for you. Now, just to give it a bit of background, I've been watching a lot of videos from different people, and one of them has been Alan Watts. I've watched a lot of his videos because I find his stuff really fascinating. Now, while I've been watching those, on YouTube you'll see there's recommended videos based around things you've already watched. One of the people that YouTube kept recommending videos from is a guy called Terence McKenna. But when I listened to him, at first I just found his voice really frustrating to listen to. He sounded, I don't know, like some kind of cartoon character to me. I don't know. I know it sounds kind of rude, but that's how it sounded to me. Anyway, it really put me off of watching his videos to start with. In fact, I stopped watching after the first one because I just couldn't deal with listening to him. Now, those videos of his kept popping up in the recommended videos on YouTube, and the titles were really enticing to me because they were directly addressing things that I was looking into. So I decided at some point to start looking and watching them again. And I did. And when I allowed myself to look past the voice and really listen to what Terence was saying, even though I don't agree with a lot of it, I found it really had a lot of things that made me think. And I do agree with some of what he says as well, but a lot of it was just really thought-provoking for me. So I've gotten beyond the voice, I've started listening to him, and this is where the main part of the story comes into it. Basically, I hadn't heard of Terence McKenna until YouTube told me about him. And I found it really interesting that a few days after I'd started really watching his stuff and getting interested in it, that someone posted on Facebook a list of quotes by Terence McKenna. And it was a link to a site, and I think it had 70 or so quotes. Now, I had a quick look through it, and I thought to myself, what a coincidence that out of nowhere, I've just started watching all these old recordings of Terence McKenna, and then someone out of nowhere seemingly posts this thing on Facebook about Terence McKenna, a guy I'd never heard of before, or at least I don't think I'd heard of. And when I thought, what a coincidence, I realised around this same time I'd been experiencing a lot of similar things happening. I'd talk about something or think about something, and then within hours sometimes, usually a day or so later though, someone else would start out of nowhere, so it seemed, talking about the exact same thing. And I was thinking, why all of a sudden is there so many coincidences happening to me in my life? Why am I experiencing all this? And I realized I need to ask a question. So I thought, is it really coincidence? Or is it a connection? A connection between where I am in this moment and everything that surrounds me. So I guess what I mean by that is everything seems to flow constantly, and my research, for instance, looking into Alan Watts stuff, led me on to Terence McKenna, which made me notice something that I probably would not have noticed before because I hadn't heard the name Terence McKenna. I probably would have just scrolled straight past it in my newsfeed previously. And instead of it being a coincidence, it was just my mind was switched on and picked up that name as I scrolled through. So I just believe there's some kind of connection between how I'm thinking and what my mind is taking in to what I'm noticing after. It's all just somehow connected rather than it just being a random coincidence. So I found that really interesting and I just wanted to share that little story. Let me know down below in the comments if you've got a theory on this, whether you think it really is just coincidence, and maybe if you've got any interesting stories, tell them down below, and I'd find it really interesting to hear what you guys have got to say. If you've got any questions as well, leave them. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video really soon.